Hello, good evening. This is Paul Newman. Glad you could join me. So today I'm going to teach mainly the sun salutation sequence. So we'll start as ever with an initial relaxation. So lying on your back in corpse pose. So for corpse pose, we take the heels to the front corners of the mat, tuck the tailbone and soften back onto the mat, lengthening the back as long as possible, and then tucking the chin slightly so the back of the neck is long. Taking the arms just far enough from the body the palms can turn up comfortably, 6 to 8 inches, and then let go of all the tension in the legs. Allow the feet to fall out to the sides. So taking corpse pose and breathing in deeply. Notice all the sensations of the air, the cooler air flowing in through the sinuses, down through the windpipe, filling the lungs. Feel the sensation of the lungs expanding, the diaphragm pushing against the belly rising. When you're full of air, soften the abdominal muscles, allow the breath to flow out naturally under its own pressure. Gently dissolve, have a sense of your own self, your own tension, dissolving with the out breath outwardly into the atmosphere. Just keep that going. Just long, slow, deep breaths in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. Feel the slightly warmer air as it flows out. Just noticing everything about your situation. Feel your weight being supported by the floor. Notice all the points where you're in contact with the floor. The back of the head, the backs of the calves, the shoulders, the hips, the backs of the heels. 5 long, slow, deep breaths in a reverse count from 5 down to 0, so that when you reach 0, there's nowhere else to go. Just keep counting zeros. So you can breathe that at your own count of 5. Softening and exhaling for the count of 5. Inhaling for 4. Softening, relaxing for 4. Inhaling for 3. Inhaling for 2. Exhaling for 2. Inhaling for 1. And exhaling for 1. Bring your knees into the chest. Hug around the shins and draw some small circles on the mat with your lower back. A few in each direction. Maybe making the circles a little. And then place the feet to the floor hip width. Middle finger touching. And as you inhale, tucking the tailbone, lifting the pelvis, then the lower back, then the middle back, then the lower back. Sorry, the lower back, middle back and upper back from the floor. And then exhaling, rolling back down the way you came up. Upper back, middle back, lower back, rolling bridge. Rippling the spine on and off the mat in time with your own breath, inhaling to come up. Palms flat, fingers spread, exhaling to come back down. In an up position, and join the hands underneath and walk the shoulders a little bit closer together and the backs of the arms, and see if you can push the hips a little bit higher. And coming back a little bit more onto the shoulders. And separate the hands, palms flat, fingers spread. Allow the shoulder blades to back, middle back, lower back, contacting the floor. And then bring the knees into the chest once more. Hug around the shins. You can make some hip circles with the knees, a few in each direction, coming out to the sides. Both knees in different directions. And then change direction. And then cross at the ankles, hold behind the thighs, kick back behind your head and then come up to a seated position. We're going to take a few forward and rear extensions and a seated side stretch. So inhale, let's take some hip circles first, just to loosen up the lower back a little bit. So clockwise direction, 3 or 4, and then change direction, keeping the spine, just noticing any areas where you're slightly tight, and then change the cross of the legs, and we'll do that again. So inhaling, sitting up tall, maybe making them a little bit more active now as you get ready for your practice. We're going to come into some seated twists. So take the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you, inhale, push up tall, exhale, twist down and around, looking over your right shoulder, and then inhaling, come back to center and change sides. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, twisting down and around, and then inhale, coming back to center. We're going to do a forward extension with a flat back, and then a rear extension. So starting with a flat back, we'll change the cross of the legs again, and then inhale, sitting up tall, exhale, folding forward with the flat back. So inhaling, gaze forward, out and up. You can have the elbows to the fronts of the knees to help bring the chest forward, and gaze forward, out and up on the inhale, exhaling, just hinging at the hips and softening forward with a flat back, no rounding forward at this, and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. See if you can get the forearms to the floor, or at least the palms to the floor, and then keep the elbows against the knees. And keep working in that position with your breath, at least 5 breaths. And then when you've done 5 breaths, you can round down, taking the head towards the floor. And as you breathe in, breathe into the back of the ribs, so as you breathe in, the back of the ribs rises, exhaling, softening forward a little bit more. And then hands to the floor, straighten the arms. Take the hands behind you, 6 to 8 inches. Chest forward, out and up. Gaze forward, out and up. Pushing the chest forward between the shoulders. And then inhale, coming back up to a seated position. We'll come to some right hand to the floor level with the right hip, left bicep to left ear, and then allowing the left arm, the weight of the left arm to carry the left shoulder down into its socket. Avoid hunching the shoulder up around the ear. We're going to bend at the elbow, taking the elbow towards the hip and softening over to the side. Inhale, so pushing into the right hand to get the left sit bone nicely grounded into the floor, and then exhale again. Inhaling, exhaling, soften. Inhaling, push, exhale, soften. Exhale, soften. And once you've got as far as you're going to get, you can turn the palm up towards the ceiling and push as you inhale, giving a nice stretch up the left side of the ribs. Inhaling all the way over, left hand to the floor, right bicep to right ear, pushing the right sit bone into the floor firmly, and then bending at the elbow, softening over. Inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. So gradually increasing as you come into the seated side stretch. And then once you've got as far as you're going to get, you can turn the palm up towards the ceiling and push the armpit up towards the ceiling to increase the stretch. Coming back to center, and then a few more hip circles in each direction. Change the cross of the legs and repeat. A few in each direction, clockwise and anti-clockwise. Okay, so now we're going to come over onto hands and knees and do a cat-cow dog vinyasa. So just into an all-fours position. So from here, we're going to tuck the toes. Inhale, drop the belly towards the floor. Pull back against the mat with the palms. Gaze forward, out and up. Inhale. Going to flatten out the back. Look back to down between the hands and then back towards your knees, dropping the head, and then start ripping the spine up towards the ceiling. So exhaling into the cat. Flatten out the back. We're going to lift the knees a little bit and then take the hip bones, sit bones back towards the heels with the knees still raised, and then push more into the palms, palms flat, the heels come down towards the floor, knees are still strongly bent. You can step the feet out a little bit to start stepping out into your first downward facing dog. So the lower back and the hips, so you can swivel the hips from side to side a little bit and pedal the heels, working towards straightening the knees. Let's keep that going a little bit longer. And then come into the full downward facing dog. So pushing into the hands and trying to push the tailbone into the... And now we're going to come up onto the toes and then start rippling the spine up towards the ceiling, starting with the tailbone, lower back, middle back, upper back, until we have a high cat with the shoulders above the wrists. And then we can take the heels back, straightening out the legs, and come into the straight line plank. Bring the knees down, tuck the toes, inhale, coming into the cow pose. Flatten out the back, lift the knees, quarter dog, half dog, full downward facing dog, up onto the toes, tuck the tailbone, pulling in the belly, ripping the spine up towards the ceiling, shoulders above the wrists, and then flattening out the back. Tuck the toes, inhale, cow pose, exhale, flatten out the back, lift the knees, sit bones to heels, quarter dog, half dog, downward facing dog, and then high cat. So from here, upward facing dog from Kumbhakasana, if you know what you're doing. So if you know how to get the rotational grip on the mat and bring most of the curve into the upper back, then it's dog. But make sure you know how to do that rotational grip on the mat to bring the chest up and the gaze up, and then flatten out the back, bring the knees down and sit back on your heels. So just going to do a little wrist stretch exercise, which I showed you. Hand around the right hand, index finger to thumb, thumb to little finger knuckle, and the elbow pointing out to the side and the fingers pointing up towards your face. So from here we're going to work on a stretch by taking the wrist down towards the belly button. So you should be finding a stretch across the back of the wrist, and then we'll turn the hand and take the fingers to the little finger edge of the palm of the hand and the thumb to the back of the thumb knuckle, and then elbow and wrist in two right angles, and then as you twist around this way, drawing the wrist back towards the sternum and then stretching this area of the wrist. And then we'll do that again on the other hand. And opposite way. And then give your hands a shake. And we're going to come into a sun salutations. So come up to standing however you wish to. And then come to the front of your mat and take a Tadasana mountain pose. So you can have the feet parallel and hip width, and we're going to be gripping the mat with the space between the ball of the big toe, ball of the second toe, getting an outward rotation of the toes, but gripping the mat so your feet don't slide out like that. And then also gripping the mat with the outside edges of the heels, as if you're trying to stop the heels from clicking together. So you've got a 4-point grip, slight engagement to the belly muscles so that the hips don't come forward, spine upright, head upright, slight outward rotation of the upper arms to bring the shoulder blades flat into the back ribs, pushing the chest forward and widening out the shoulder girdle. And then the head, nice solid base. Tadasana mountain pose, rotations. This is where we start from and where we finish. So standing in this posture, and remember that feeling when you come back into it at the end of each round. So we're going to come into our first round of sun salutations. Inhale, bring the hands together, movement, taking the hands up all the way overhead, and then leading with the little finger edges of the palms, we're coming into a gentle standing back bend, Hatha Uttanasana. Keeping the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears, looking up towards the fingertips. Straighten up the torso, and then on the exhale, hands come past the face in prayer to the heart center. See if you can get a straight line, elbows through wrists, and then we'll continue the forward fold, taking the hips back at the same rate as you run to the feet and the heels. So once you can't bend any further forward with the flat back, then bend the knees, the belly comes onto the front thighs, bend the knees some more so you can bring the hands to the floor next to the feet, fingers and toes in line, and then we're going to step back with the right leg in a long lunge to the back right corner of the mat, pushing up through the back of the right, getting the chest up and gaze up. So this is equestrian pose. Actually, release the left foot, Kumbhakasana, straight line plank, hold the breath. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, bring the knees down, rolling forward on the toes, chest and chin come down together. Ashtanga Namaskar, 8-point pose, release the toes, inhale, slide the chest forward between the hands, in to get the chest forward, press down to the knees, tuck the toes, half push up on the knees, and then almost from a flat back, tucking the toes, and coming into your downward facing dog. So from downward dog, we're going to take the right leg up behind into a 3-legged dog, pushing into the right wrist more to get the tip of the right toe as far as we can from the wrist, and then bend the knee with keeping the knee still high, and then start ripping the spine up towards the ceiling. So it's coming to the toes of the left foot, and then sucking the belly muscles as the knee comes forward. You flex the foot, making as much space as we can in a high 3-legged cat to step the foot forward as far as we can between the hands, aiming for fingers and toes in line and without the palms lifting. So if the palms lift, then just bring the foot as far forward as it comes and give it a helping hand, taking the hand behind the ankle, stepping the foot forward, and then sinking back into a crouch on the opposite side, pulling the mat towards you, pushing up through the back of the knee, allowing the heel to go down towards the mat. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone, push into the wrists, push into the palms rather, pushing off the back toes, and bring the feet to where they're going to end up in Tadasana. Inhaling, half standing forward bend with flat back and straight legs. On the exhale, standing forward bend, so with the knees fully bent, and then pushing into the palms to raise the hips. So pushing into the palms, and then inhale. We're going to bring the front thighs parallel to the floor. You can take the hands on the front thighs to support you as you come up with a flat back, or take the arms out ahead in a chair. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears particularly, and then come back into your Hatha Uttanasana standing back bend. Straighten up the torso, hands come past the face in prayer to the heart center. Remember the feeling of being in Tadasana as you release and come. We're going to repeat that and exhale, forward fold, flat back, straight legs, hands to the floor, plant the hands, look to the knees, bend the knees, long lunge, equestrian pose, Salutations, pulling the mat towards you, bringing the chest up and the gaze up, pushing up through the back of the left, through the thighs, the top of the thighs there, and then flattening out the back, weight into the hands, so engaging from the shoulders down through the arms so we can release for 5, 1, and then roll forward on the toes to bring the knees down, pushing back into the palms to bring the chest and chin down together. So as you come down, you can support the rib cage, sides of the rib cage on the backs of the arms, chest and chin together, release the toes, inhale, slide the chest forward between the hands, pulling the mat towards you, but no weight in the hands, Bhujangasana, the baby cobra. And then on the exhale, pushing into the knees, tuck the toes, and gentle half push up, and coming into your downward facing dog. And then pushing into the base of the palms to elevate the hips. Inhale, we're going to take the left leg up behind the 3-legged dog, pushing into the left wrist to get the tip of the left toe as far, and then coming up onto the toes of the right foot to get as high as we can and making as much space as we can underneath, and then lifting the spine up towards the ceiling, sucking the belly as the heel comes to the sit bone, keeping the knee high,
and then flexing the foot as you bring the knee towards the chin and rounding the back up towards the ceiling to make as much space as you can for the foot to come forward without the palms lifting. And then inhale, equestrian pose. Exhale, half stepping forward. Inhale, half standing forward bend. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, coming through a chair and up to standing. And we're back to Tadasana mountain pose. Okay, so let's add in a warrior one as we come out of equestrian pose this time. So inhale, exhale, forward fold, flat back, straight legs. Inhale, step or jump back to a straight line plank, and then for 5, 2, 1, lower down, knees, chest, chin, exhaling, inhaling into a cobra, exhaling, pushing to the knees, tucking the toes, half push up, and coming into your downward facing. Then at this point you can slide the left foot before about a foot length, so that gives you a shorter space to step into. Inhaling, right leg up behind, three-legged dog, pushing to the right wrist, coming off the toes of the left foot, bending the knee, keeping the knee high, flexing the foot as you step forward, and then if you slid that foot forward, slide it back again now as you sink back into equestrian pose, pushing the knee up, allowing the foot to slide back, pulling the mat towards you, chest up, gaze up, pushing into the palms, bring the knees together, inhale, half standing forward bend, coming back for one into equestrian pose, because I said we were going to do warrior one, didn't I? So let's do it. So from here we're going to kick the left foot out 1 foot width to the side of the mat, and then ground the heel. So just rotating on the ball of the foot to ground the heel. Heel comes flat, keeping the hips parallel to the short edge of the mat. Pull the mat back towards you to get the chest up and gaze up as far as possible. Coming onto the fingertips and then inhaling in a straddle, and the body's coming into a standing back bend. So the upper torso's in Hatha and the legs are in a warrior. From the ears, looking up towards the thumbnails above the eyes, and then we're going to take the hands past the front knee, plant them and come off the heel and push into the palms, inhaling to half standing forward bend, exhaling, standing forward bend, inhaling through a chair and up to standing, or take the hands on the front thigh. Exhale, forward fold, flat back, straight legs. Plant the hand, long lunge, pulling the mat towards you, chest up, gaze up. Slide 3, 2, 1, exhaling, bring the knees down, chest and chin come down together. Ashtanga Namaskar, 8-point pose, release the hands, pull the mat back towards you, baby cobra, Bhujangasana. Press down to the knees to elevate the hips, and then inhale, half push up, and coming up to your down dog. Inhale, comes up behind three-legged dog, pointing out the toes onto the toes of the right foot, ripping the spine as you bend the knee and the knee travels forward, and kick the right foot out 1 foot width to the right side of the mat, ground the heel, pull the mat towards you, start cueing the chest up, gaze up, and then as you come into the straddle, legs in a warrior one position, and thumbnails above the eyes, kind of like scooping the elbows up so the shoulders stay down away from the ears, but the hands are still sort of rotating to kind of point back here behind you. And then we're going to straighten the torso, hands come either side of the front knee, plant the hands, press into the hands, inhale, half standing forward bend, exhale, standing forward bend, inhaling through a chair and up to standing, and back to Tadasana, the mountain pose. So this time dial and upward facing dog, then you can do that. Please don't attempt that if you don't already know it and you haven't been in class with me and I haven't instructed you yet to do that, because if you haven't been taught by me in person how to do upward facing dog, then please just stick to the knees, chest, chin and the Bhujangasana baby cobra. Otherwise you can follow me and come from straight line plank, Dandasana, the crocodile as you lower down, and then coming into an upward facing dog. Okay, so taking a Tadasana mountain pose, straight legs, taking the hips back as you fold forward, keeping the weight even, front feet and heels, plant the hands, look to the knees, and into a long lunge. And then pushing into the back toes and the palms of the hands to release the left leg. So if you're with me, then you're coming down full crocodile. So bending the elbows back towards you, resting the side ribs on the backs of the arms, and then hovering 1 inch from the floor. On the inhale, push forward on the toes, press into the hands, get that through, or stay on the toes, really lifting up out of the arms, out of the is in the upper back, not in the lower back. So then roll a step over the toes again, take the hips high. If you're coming out of a baby cobra, you know what to do. Half push up first. Then coming into your downward facing dog. On the inhale, so pushing into that right wrist, taking the foot up behind, three-legged dog, and then coming on the toes of the left foot. And then rippling the spine up towards the ceiling, so the knee comes forward towards the chin, flexing the foot, kick the foot forward between the hands, and we're going to take that, pulling the mat back towards you, and then inhale all the way up to Warrior One. So from Warrior One this time, we're going to turn the torso out to the side until the hips are above a line drawn between the heels, and then spread the arms, keeping the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears, so not hunching up like this, but just allowing the arms to lift from underneath, and then turn just the head to look back towards the screen. And then from here we're going to windmill the arms over, so we're going to lean forward, taking the right hand to the outside of the right foot, left arm comes all the way over as we come off the left heel. Pull the mat towards you as you come into your half standing forward bend, inhale, and exhale into a standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Inhaling, front thighs parallel to the floor, arms ahead of you, coming up into a standing back bend, straighten up the torso, hands past the face in prayer heart center, and release into Tadasana mountain pose. Take the hands back, and we're coming straight through. So keeping the shoulders relaxed down away from the ears, straighten up the torso, back straight legs, and plant the hands, look to the knees, and then take inhale. Take the right leg back, hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the exhale. Support the side ribs on the backs of the arms, and then inhale, hover 1 inch and roll a step over the toes into an up dog. Nice strong rotational grip on the mat, lifting up. Crocodile, knees, chest, chin, and the baby cobra if you're not ready for up dog. Toes or half push up if you're in Bhujangasana. So this time it's the left leg up behind three-legged dog, pushing into the left wrist, bending the left knee, and then rippling the spine up towards the ceiling as you step forward. Kick the right foot out to the right, 1 foot width, ground the heel, and then pulling the mat towards you to get the chest up and gaze up, and still pulling the mat towards you, just the fingertips until the fingertips leave the mat, and then leading with the little finger edge, coming into your Warrior One, hips facing forward, nails above the eyes, fingertips pointing back behind you, pushing out through the back of the, using the outside edge of the right foot as a kind of a backstop to stop you from sliding backwards. And then straighten up the torso, turn the hips out to the side, so you have the hips are parallel with a line. Spread the hands, relax the shoulders down away from the ears, arms parallel to the floor, turn just the head, look back towards the screen, Warrior Two, and then hinging at the hips, so leaning sideways at the hips,
windmill the arms over, left hand and right hand contacts the mat, come off the right heel, pull the mat, push off the right toes, bring the feet back to the Tadasana position, inhaling, half standing forward bend. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, through a chair and up to standing, and then coming back into Tadasana mountain pose. Gripping the mat with a rotation, engaging the belly muscles so the hips don't drift forward, spine upright, outward rotation of the upper arms so the shoulder blades are against the back ribs. So the shoulders are wide but soft, head is upright. Okay, so this time as we come out of Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, we'll then go transition to a Sun Warrior. So, inhaling, exhaling, forward fold. I'm going to do the knees, chest, chin and Bhujangasana, the baby cobra. If you have done the full crocodile and the upward facing dog, you can continue doing that if you're confident with it. So bend the knees when you need to, plant the hands, look towards the knees, inhale, step back with the right leg long lunge, back right corner of the mat, pulling the mat towards equestrian pose. Release the left foot, straight line plank, hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, coming down. Knees, chest, chin or full crocodile, your choice. Upward facing dog. Exhaling, inhaling, right leg up behind, three-legged dog. Pushing into the right palm of the hand, then onto the toes of the left foot, then bending the knee, exhaling. Kick the left foot out to the left. To Warrior 1, soft shoulders. Exhaling, Warrior 2. Turn just the head, shoulders nice and soft. Turning the front palm and then hinging, palm comes above the face. Right palm above the face, left hand to the back of the left knee, softening in the thigh and allowing the foot to roll over onto the left foot to roll onto the outside edge of the foot. And then coming through a windmill all the way to a cross, push into the palms. Inhale, half standing forward bend. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhaling through a chair and up to standing. And back to Tadasana. Straight through for the left side, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, step back with the left leg long lunge. Pull the mat towards you. Equestrian pose. Take the weight into the hands and the back foot. Release the right foot. Hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, knees, chest, chin or full crocodile, your choice. Inhale, coming into a cobra. Exhale, pushing back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Pushing into the left wrist. Toes of the right foot, bend the left knee stays high. Ripping the spine, sucking the belly. Flexing the foot, making as much space as you can. Foot knee to travel towards the chin. Kick it forward without the palms, lifting width. Round the heel, pull the mat towards you. Warrior 1. So the back bend has already started, even as your hands are still on the mat. And then straighten up the torso, turn the hips to the side. Warrior 2. Turning the front palm, taking the right hand to the back of the right knee and looking up into the palm. This represents that you're looking up towards the sun, holding yourself up to the light. It's kind of like meant to be an introspective posture. It's all about full honesty with yourself. And then we're going to windmill the arms over. Come off the heel, push off the toes, inhale, half standing forward bend, exhaling, standing forward bend. Inhale, chair and up to standing, and back to Tadasana. So we're going to adding in a shadow warrior at the end. So I'll just demonstrate that first. So the Sun Warrior, as you've just done,
is here. To come to Shadow Warrior, turn just the head and outward rotation of the left hand, taking the left shoulder back and bring the head above the heel. And then if you want, you can turn and push to get more of a stretch on the side of the ribs. So there's a line in the poem by Khalil Gibran called The Prophet, which is where he's talking about people that stand facing the sun and people for whom the sun is only a caster of shadows. So, but everyone stands in the sun. So that's what the sun salutations. So we're going to come through, we'll do sun salutations again and then come through to shadow. Exhaling, forward fold, flat back, straight legs.
Inhale, step back with the right leg, long lunge. Pull the mat towards you. Straight line plank. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Crocodile. Inhaling to a cobra or an upward facing dog, your choice. Press down to the knees. Half push up. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog, pushing to the right wrist, coming up to the toes of the left foot, bending the right knee, knee stays high, sucking in the belly button and tucking the tailbone. Kick the foot out to the side on the left and pulling the mat towards you, coming into Warrior One. Softening the shoulders, avoid hunching up around the ears, straighten the torso, turn the hips out to the side, separate the hands. The arms are parallel to the floor, the gaze is parallel to the arms, so the eyes are looking over the tip of the middle finger. So, and where the eyes are looking, those two lines converge at infinity. And if you could see all the way to infinity, you'd see this little finger pointing back at you. So we're coming to the Shadow Warrior, turning the palm up, leaning back, softening again here, rotation, remember, in the left shoulder, turning just the head and leaning back. And then coming into the dynamic stretch if you want to, and then wimble the arms all the way up. Hands, inhale, half standing forward bend, exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale for a chair and up to standing, and back to a Tadasana mountain pose. One more time, inhale, exhale, forward fold, flat back, straight legs. Inhale, step back with the left. Inhale, retain the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down, knees, chest, chin. Or full crocodile, your choice. Inhale, cobra, or up dog, exhale, half push up, or straight back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog. And then on the toes of the right foot, bend the left knee, keeping the knee high. Foot sucking in the belly, pushing up through the lower back, then the middle back, then the upper back. Knee comes towards the chin, shoulders above the wrists. Kick the foot forward, between the hands, forward, backwards again. If you slid it forward, pulling the mat towards you, chest up, gaze up. And then kick the right foot out to the right, ground the right heel. Inhale as you're coming up to your Warrior One. Spread the arms, Warrior Two, Sun Warrior. And then Shadow Warrior, turning just the head, increase the stretch, and then make the stretch dynamic by pushing if you want to, and pushing out through the back of the knee also, rotating the right shoulder back, and then wimble the arms all the way over. Inhale, half standing forward bend. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, chairing up to standing, and then coming back to Tadasana mountain pose. Just breathing deeply in mountain pose for a few breaths. So now we'll come into the tree. So we're going to take the right foot out to the right, pivoting on the right heel, bending into the right knee, and take the right instep back to cover the ankle. And then you can turn the hips back
towards the short edge of the mat, standing upright. So this is already tree. You can stay here if you want to. If you want to elevate the foot by taking the toes to the ankle or the instep to the calf, then, or if you know where you're going and you can do it without any part of the foot being on the supporting knee, then you can take the knee higher. Toes down is still tree. And then inhale, taking the arms up, shoulders down away from the ears, elbows back, shoulders down, in the tree pose. So we hold the posture for a minute or so, meditating on what it feels like to be in this posture, meditating on the hedonistic tone. And then hands past the face in prayer to heart center and release back into Tadasana. Change sides, so hip pivoting on the left, covering the ankle, turning the hips back towards me. Spine upright, and then arms overhead, shoulders down, elbows back. You can take the left foot up the supporting leg if you wish to. Please make sure no part of the foot is on your supporting knee. So if you are taking the heel to sit bone, heel to inner thigh rather, then please make sure you have this foot flexed so that you're pressing the heel into the inner thigh rather than any part of the toes against the knee. Knees aren't designed to bend sideways. So then from this position, hands past the face in prayer, heart center, knee forward if you've got it raised, and then release, Tadasana mountain pose. Well done. So we'll start with the feet fairly close together, and we're going to step back so that if you have one of these mats with a center line, then make sure that the middle toe, back of the heel, center of the instep, about where the foot joins the heel, are all on one straight line, is tracking over the middle toes. And then the back hip is coming out all the way without this knee rolling into the side. So keeping that knee tracking over the middle toe, bring the hip back so the body's in a straight line. So from here, we're going to look back towards the backhand. I don't really have space here, but I'm going to lean the torso forward. So two posture, lean the torso elbow, rest the forearm onto the front leg, look back towards the raised thumb. And then start leaning more weight into this front thigh. And as you do, the angle of the body will change, keeping the arm at a right angle to the torso. Eventually brings it upright once the torso is parallel with the floor. And then pushing back against the inside, you can reach down towards the floor. And then bend into the front knee. Take the forearm back to the front knee to support your weight as you come up to standing. And we're going to change sides. So, starting Warrior Two stance, we're going to look back towards the right hand, bend the left elbow, and then lean the torso forward, placing the forearm on the front thigh, and lean all your weight into that front thigh. Use that to work on straightening the front leg, and then once the leg's straight, you can reach down towards the floor, softening, softening, softening. Press, so you've got to press back very strongly towards the inside of the left leg with the left arm, and that's getting the rotation back towards the right. And then bend the knee when you're ready, elbow, forearm to front thigh, and then coming upright. Okay, so just for fun, let's do the Malasana squat. I know you want to. So we're going to take the feet, so the toes are pretty much, it depends on your height, but if you're reasonably tall, then the toes will probably be touching or just off the edges of the mat, and hands together in prayer, heart center. Play with the position of the feet as you come into your Malasana squat. So use this as a
way to stretch out the inner thighs. So we're going to inhale, bring the heels of the palms towards the belly button, chest up, gaze up, and using this push, we're really pulling back against the inner thighs to kind of loosen them, soften them, stretch them. And then once you've got the full inhale and sinking and softening downwards, and then inhaling and exhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Should really feel the heels of the palms squeezing together very strongly at the peak of the inhale, exhaling. And then taking the hands to the floor and taking some weight through the insides of the legs, through the backs of the elbows, working towards the balance point. Baddha Konasana, seated bound angle pose from here. So if you want to sit on a block, you can. Have the sit bones just off the front edge of the block, knees out to the side, kind of opening up the feet, kind of like a book here. Holding the elbows and drawing the heels back towards the sit bones. So as you inhale, small the back through to the belly button, chest up, gaze up, exhale, hinging at the hips. So just go to where you come to comfortably. I've got a little bit of pain on my right knee here, so I'm not going to go into the full position. If you can manage it, keep working with the breath, inhaling to bring the gaze forward, out and up, the chest through. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Working with the breath to get as far as you can to the forward fold. And then once you can't go any further, you can exhale, rounding down, taking the head towards the feet. And then as you breathe into the back of the ribs. The back of the ribs rises, exhale. And then inhaling, sitting up, taking the hands behind you 6 to 8 inches and pushing chest up towards the ceiling, pushing the small of the back through towards the belly button and pulling the mat backwards. And then we're going to stretch out the legs straight and come into a straight leg, right angle forward fold. So feet pointing back towards your face, sit bones just off the front edge of the block if you have a block, and walking out the heels to lengthen out the hamstrings, back nice and straight. On the exhale, hinging at the hips, folding forward. Just resting the hands here, not gripping and pulling the legs, just allowing that stretch to happen naturally. Working with the breath, gaze forward, out and up as you inhale, exhaling, hinging at the hips. Just keep working with the breath until you get to the point where you're not going to fold any further forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to round forward, taking the head towards the knees. So this time breathing into the back, softening forward. So just hold that position for a few breaths with the head on the knees. And then inhale, sitting up, hands behind you 6 to 8 inches, and if you want to, so we're just pushing the chest up towards the ceiling. Please avoid throwing the head all the way back, so please keep space at the back of the neck. Neck is extending the line of the spine, not throwing the head all the way back. Press down to the heels if you want to elevate the hips, reverse straight line plank, and then coming down. Move the block out of the way, heels to the front corners of the mat, and we're coming back into the corpse pose, Shavasana, for final relaxation for a minute or so. So just allow all the tension to go out of the legs, and the feet fall out to the sides, the toes just fall out to the sides, the legs are nice and floppy. Whole body is soft. Just listen to the bird song. listening to the sound of your own breathing. As you breathe in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Inhaling and exhaling slowly and deeply. Just feel your body responding to your practice. Feel your body strengthening. Feel the strength working its way through the bones, through the joints, through the ligaments. Feel your body responding to the exercise, to the relaxation. So the mental resilience and the mental strength increasing. Feel your heart center, the center of your confidence. Integrity. And now just set an intention for what you're going to take out into the world from this practice. So, if there's been any, set an intention to spread that further, and then relax and release the intention. In your own time, bring the knees into the chest, hug around the shins, and then roll off onto your right hand side into a fetal position, eyes closed or soft. Place the left hand on the floor in front of your face. Slowly, carefully and mindfully pushing yourself up position near the front of your mat. Eyes closed or soft, and you can have the hands resting on the backs of the knees in Jnana Mudra or meditation posture. So this connection means that you're keeping a little bit of energy for yourself. When we do Warrior 2, we're sending the energy out all the way to the ends of the universe. And here we're creating a kind of a short circuit and keeping just a little bit for ourselves. Most of it we send out, but some of it we keep. Spine up. So we're going to come into embed the learning that we've done. So you can do this in everyday life. You can take something which is normally a routine and make it into a ritual. So then anything mundane in your life can become like a meditation. So this is called the 4 stages of the evolution of human consciousness, and we start at this position with no movement. This is before the commencement, not even like this. So it's not even like this now. This is the Muladhara chakra, the base of all life. This is life at its unique kind of consciousness that every single one of those trillions of cells in your body that it has. The next action is becoming one like this, so we're taking the hands all the way up through the central channel. And this represents the evolution of human consciousness through each of the 7 stages to the highest chakra, the Sahasrara chakra at the top of the head. And then we go from the absolute into the relative. We spread the arms out high and wide, and this is about the truth of human consciousness. So here you can focus on something that you know is true. As we spread the arms out high and wide. This is also surrounding yourself with peace and positive energy. And then on the inhale, we're going to scoop the arms back up over the sensation of being alive. And see all 4 of those states become one. And then we draw the hands down past the upper chakras to the heart center and acknowledge the oneness of every stage of human evolution of consciousness, bowing the head to the fingertips with a namaste. And then you can release the hands to the knees and sit upright. Stay in meditation posture for as long as you like. Or start making small movements to ease out where you've loosened up, maybe worked some muscles that haven't been worked for a little while. But that's the end of the class. So thank you very much for attending. I'm going to live stream again tomorrow at 7 o'clock and then again next Monday from 7:30. So that's, I hope, going to be regular until lockdown finishes and we go back to the gym. If you're interested in sun salutations, I've written a book on sun salutations. It's called Surya Namaskar Vinyasa, or Sun Salutations Surya Namaskar Vinyasa by Paul Newman. And it's available on the Amazon store if you'd like a copy. I'll leave a link to it in the comments section down below. I think it's £9 in paperback or Kindle version, but if you buy the paperback you get the Kindle version bundled with it anyway, so it's pretty good value. And it's easier to look at a book when you're practicing sun salutations than it is to be working on an electronic device that can cut out or go into screensaver mode. So take a look anyway. If you've bought the book already, please leave a review for it on Amazon if you enjoyed it, or if you didn't enjoy it, I'll publish the second edition. It's been lovely having you here with me virtually, and for something so I know who was here and who attended the class. Thank you very much for coming, and hope to see you tomorrow or next Monday or both. Have a lovely